In this video, we will see how to add some vignettes. So let's go for it. What I would like to add is kind of highlight the left side to make feel that there is some light that is coming from here, okay? So what I will do for this, I will just click and drag this and give me some space. I will organize all the glare here. So just by selecting everything and use Shift P to create a frame. Okay, so here we have the label, and we can call it glare. Okay, good. You can enable this. Maybe we can put it in light blue, something like that. Okay, good. And we continue our compositing over there with these two nodes. Okay, so here I just have to click and drag this one here. Let's go there. Now we would like to create a vignette. So a vignette, we have two ways of using it for the highlights, okay, and to focus on one part of the image. So that's what we will do for this image here. We will use the two techniques. So let's go there and add here a mask, an ellipse mask. You can see here the ellipse mask looks like this. You can manage here the width and the height. So let's go into something with 0.4 here. Might be okay. And 0.2, maybe 0.3. Let's say something like that, okay? And then after we will move it into the left side with the X value, just like this. So maybe between 0.1 and 0.2, maybe 0.15, and a little higher, maybe, to see that this light comes from the sky, okay? Now, what I would like to add is a blur. So we have here into the filters, we have some blur. So I will just take the classic blur here, okay? And into that blur, I will select the fast Gaussian here, okay? I will click on relative, like this, it's kind of percentage of the size of this image. And what I will do, I will just select a high value like 35 or 30, something like this, okay? Something, yeah, might be good here, maybe 40 on this one to have this kind of highlights. Okay, not that bad. Maybe we can increase a little the height to have something like this. Yeah, looks better in my opinion. And increase a little the blur of this. No, it was good actually, like this. Okay, we keep it like this now. What I want to do now is add these highlights into my image. So I would just want something that is warm, like the sun. So I will add a color ramp to give some color into it. So I will go into that and search for a color ramp. We can see that here we will have this kind of color. Let's say somewhere here, a little reddish, like this, kind of skin color actually, okay? And then after we will just use the add option. So let's select the add here. No, we cannot because it's inside the frame. So let's add a color mix color over it. And let's take add just like that. And we will add the image. We will add this to the image, okay? So by default, it will look like this, something not really realistic. But what we can do is just decrease a little the factor, like between 0.1, I would say 0.1 or 0.2. Let's see. This is a little too high in my opinion. Let's go into 0.15. Okay, looks not bad here. I would like to increase a little the size of it, maybe the size of the blur, like let's put 40 over there and let's put 50 over there. Yeah, I prefer this. It looks a little better. And let's put it a little higher, like 0.7, something like that looks good. Okay, you can see that now we have this nice effect. Maybe 0.12 might look enough. Okay, so now we have this kind of nice light effect that comes from this side of the image. Okay, maybe we can move it just a little into this direction. Okay, looks not bad. Good, so now we have this kind of gradient that we did add into the image, so it can be really good to add this effect. Now we would like to add the final vignette, so let's go for another ellipse. Okay, so we will duplicate this one and have a look at it. So here we will put everything at 0 for oh sorry, it's not really this, so 0.5 I guess, yeah, and 0.5 I guess here. Okay, to have everything in the middle. Now I will increase the width until I go just before the border of the image. Okay, so something like this might look okay, and same for the height. Okay, and even for the width a little less, maybe just something like that. Good. Now we will need another blur. It will be the same one but with less blur. Maybe 25% might look okay. We will see. If you increase the blur in that case, for example, you will have to decrease the size. Okay, so maybe here a 0.7 might work with a height at 0.45 or something like that to have this kind of nice blurry effect. And you can push this at 35 if needed, if you want something that is less aggressive, let's say. Okay, so maybe I will put 0.65 to decrease that, and 0.4 over there. Okay, good. So now we will have a nice vignette to add this, and we will just duplicate that. We will not use the add, but we will use the multiply, and we will just add this one here and this one here, and now we'll have this, and we can focus more into the center of the image, just like so, as you can see. Okay, and more you add, more you will have. Okay, so don't add too much, maybe 0.5 is enough. And what you can do is focus more into the center of the character, so maybe something like here. And for this we will just go there with the mask a little more into the x-axis, somewhere around here might be okay. Okay, and now you can see here the result. So if I increase that, it will be only into my character. That works far better. Okay, let's put maybe 0.6, and now we did finish with the image. Okay, so yeah, you can see that from this in the beginning, remember, from this in the beginning, we had this flat render, a little poor. Okay, we went to this to add some color. We went to this to add some here ambient occlusion, to this to add some mists, after this to add the background. Okay, then after this to add the glare, then this to add here the dispersion around, and this finally to add the vignetting if needed. Okay, maybe this is a little too strong, maybe 0.4 might be enough. Don't add too much for this. And yeah, you can see that you have a quite nice image to add now for your project. So here what we can do, it's a last color grading. So if you want, you can add just a few color grade, like here. Let's go into color adjust. So we can use always an RGB curve in the end. It's always good. We can use always here, let's go there with adjust here with hue saturation value. And a last one that I like to use sometimes, it's the color here. It must be into the adjust here, you saturate. It must be the color correction. No, it's the color balance here, sorry. Good. So we'll have this. Okay, nice. So here, how works the RGB curve? So you have the main color here. So you will manage the entire image. So if you want, for example, to add some light or to make a kind of more contrasty look, you can just with the basic color. If you feel that you have not too much green not green enough into your image, you add some green, just like this, okay? So simple. If you want to remove the dot, you go there and you remove the dot and you keep the original. Let's say you want more blue, you go there and add more blue if needed. Let's say I will keep it like this. So before it was like this, now it looks like this. I like this one, okay? A little more contrasty. So here you have the hue saturation value in case you want more or less saturation. So let's say 0.8 for add less or 1.2 to add more. Be careful, the saturation in Blender, it really saturates too much after 1. So yeah, you can play with the hue as well, like for example 0.45 if you want to add another look, but don't go too far from 0.5, okay? And here you have this one that is quite interesting as well. So here will be for the dark values, this one for the middle values, and this one for the light values, so the white values. So what we can do in this, it's for example contrast the main colors into our image. So what we can do, for example, we can add some blue inside the dark areas, for example, and we can add some red and yellow into the light areas. So it will kind of contrast just with color and have a more interesting look, okay? So yeah, it can be good in that case. I like this one. I would like to come back here and maybe increase a little the dark parts. Yeah, not that much. Maybe like this, it might be okay. Good. Okay, so now we have this kind of image. Looks pretty cool. Okay, so before the gradient, before managing the colors, we had this. Okay, kind of boring here, and even better with this. Okay, so don't hesitate to play with the settings. You can play with the values as well. If you want to increase only the dark values, you can go there. Be careful because we have a lot of dark into our image, so it can be a little complicated to manage here. So I come back with a simple value at 1 here, just like that. Okay, and yeah, you can just play with the settings. Maybe you want to add more highlights into your image. Okay, so you can play with that as well. So don't hesitate to play with all of the settings. It will give you a lot of control to your image to finish and to have a nice ambient into your image. So here we have the finished render. So now we can come back here into our rendering and make the final image. In case it's an image, you just go there and increase the level here of samples and make the final image, and you can save it like that. What you can do as well, and what is really interesting with compositing, because all of this you can make it with a 2D software very easily as well, like Photoshop or something like that. But except for dispersion, I'm not sure, I didn't see that, but I don't know Photoshop as well as Blender. But here what is sure is that you can make this for an entire animation while you have your setup that is ready. When you, for example, maybe make an animation for the droid here that's walking over there, okay, here you will have the entire setup done and you have to do nothing. It will calculate all the compositing for all the images that you will render during the animation. Be careful for the movements of cameras, because if you have some movement of cameras here, you cannot use the background effect here because the background is still and will not move and will be framed on the camera. So it will be a little strange to see the sky moving as the rest is not moving when you move your camera. So in that case, just use a basic HDRI setup and remove this background option, okay? In case you have some camera movements. If you don't have camera movements, this setting will work perfectly and you will add this effect to your entire animation. So it's a very powerful feature. That's why I wanted to show you that. So there are a lot of things that I cannot cover during this training. It's the last video. It's something. We did spend a lot of time. So okay, I did not cover everything for sure. There are a lot of things that that needs to be covered for Blender. I wanted to cover the most basic things for each part of Blender, and you have already strong basics to start working with this tool now. So if you did follow everything and practice a little, I really recommend to practice the exercises that I give you to not only watch the videos but practice more and more until it becomes natural and you don't have to think too much about that to make it, okay? So yeah, don't hesitate to practice and practice again. Start to make your own project with all the tools and the assets that you have in Blender. For example, make some nice environments or things like that. It's very easy with the assets. Make your own creations and be creative, be happy with Blender and enjoy creation. I'm always happy to answer the questions in the chat if needed. And yeah, see you. I hope you did enjoy this. Don't hesitate to give a nice rating if you did like this training. And I hope we will see you. We will see each other with your creations on the chat or your questions. And yeah, stay safe. Happy blending and goodbye.